Alright, welcome back to my video, passing the guard and playing from top position. In this tape, you guys will learn the basic of how passing the guard, how to avoid getting arm lock from the guard, how to avoid to get choke, and how to avoid to get sweep. Before we go to the details of each way of passing the guard, I want you guys to notice a very important detail, and I'm going to say before I show it, is the posture. You're going to find out that the posture is very important when you try to pass the guard. The posture is going to be the base or foundation of how you to pass the guard. I want you guys to pay attention of in each detail that I'm going to be telling you. That way you guys will be successful in a tournament. Well, now let's gonna go back to details we were talking about the posture. I'm gonna have my friend come in his guard. For those who doesn't know, and start beginning right now, this is the guard position. I'm between his legs are close behind me. This position is very, very good for him, even though it looks like he's losing. Like I said before, he has a chance to get my arm, choke me, to sweep me, sometimes even get my foot locked. But now, I'm going to show you guys how to prevent that from happening. First thing, I want you guys to notice, I want to keep my back straight. You never, for no reason, want to be too close to your opponent and never too far away from your opponent. Let's see, like this or like this. Each one of them is wrong. Why? Because every time that I'm close to my opponent, I give him the chance for him to give me a choke or a sweep. If I'm too far away, I'm doing the same thing. The best position you guys are going to be on is going to be back straight, 90 degrees with your opponent, and want to look forward. Why? Because usually when you're looking at your opponent, you have the tendency, when he tries to push you, you're going to go after him. You want to look forward, ignore your opponent. Okay? That's a very solid foundation from here. From here, it's very hard for him to give me a choke, an arm lock, sweep me, because I'm in a really good base and I'm just, my back is straight. Now, how can I hold to my opponent? I want to keep one hand always by the solar flex high. I'm going to grab both sides of the gi and do it like I'm going to punch his chest, just like this. The same way I'm going to grab his gi, like this. See, like I'm punching his chest. The other hand is going to come by the hips level, grabbing both sides. Some people have the tendency to grab the belt. That's okay. I personally like to grab the gi. I actually think I have more control over him. Okay, this hand. Why am I going to do that for? This hand is going to prevent for him to come on top of me, to come sit down, like try to sit down. See, if I keep my arms, he sit down, he can do any kind of movement. Now, by keeping my hand in here, he tries to come out. It's very hard for him. The other hand, he's going to try to keep his hips on the ground. Every time he tries to grab my arm lock, or he's going to try to move, he's going to have to move his hips. So it's not going to totally stop or avoid for him to move his hip, but at least it's going to make it a little bit harder. Now, I want you guys to know my position where I'm at. This position right here, back straight, one in the solar flex, one in the hip, straight forward. Okay, that's the best position you guys are going to be. It doesn't matter which arm you guys put in front and which arm you put in the back, depending on, if you're right-hander or left-hander, or depending on your game plan. You guys are going to know about that later. Okay, so again, never too close, never too far away, always back straight, looking forward. One hand by the chest, one hand by the hip level, and look forward. Now, let's go back to the details. How can I avoid to get choked from the guard? If I'm in this right position that I just showed you guys, in the right posture, it's very hard for him to put both hands on my neck and be able to choke me. But let's say he gets the chance and put one hand on my neck, like a lot of good jiu-jitsu players will do. Even judo players do that. Now, when every time this happens, I want you guys to place one of your hands, instead of putting behind here, I want you guys to let it go and go on top of his arm. Okay, and do the same move that I just showed you. Start to put your hand in his chest, like so. When he does attack my neck, one hand, I let it go and go the same move and hold it here. Even if he gets the other hand behind in my neck, it's going to be very hard for him to choke me because I'm already breaking the leverage on his arms right here. It's going to be very hard for him to choke me from here. Okay? So I want you guys to remember that. If I got my posture right and he attacks my neck, go ahead. As soon as that happens, I'm going to put my hand on top of his. Only one, the one on top. Yes, right there. You guys will see it's going to prevent for him to choke. How can I prevent for getting an arm lock from the guard? The same thing. I'm going to go back to the posture, straight forward. I'm in his chest. I'm by the hip. Now, usually my opponent is always going to try to attack the arm in front because it's easier. It's very hard for him to try to attack the arm in the back because it's already protected. How can I prevent from that to happen, from getting an arm lock from the guard? First thing, I want you guys to know this. When you try to attack your arm, I want you guys to place your elbow on the ground next to his hips, like so. Just drop your weight on top of your elbow and put your elbow on the ground. Again, I'm here. He's going to attack my arm. I'm just going to place my elbow on the ground. It's going to be very, very hard, almost impossible for him to get your arm right in that position. So let's see when it happens. My opponent, just like that. That's going to prevent for him to get my arm. Okay, again. Understand? Okay, the same thing from the other arm. Go ahead. Just that. That's going to prevent, any time that he attacks your arm, that's going to prevent from getting an arm lock. Well, since already we know how to prevent getting choked, how to prevent getting an arm lock, let's go show you the first way how to pass the guard. It's lots of several ways to pass the guard, and everybody creates or adapt a way of passing the guard depending on their game plan. Because you always know there's going to be an after, more moves after fight before you pass the guard. The fight won't end up in there. It's going to be a lot more. So you need to adapt a game where you're going to be in that next position is going to be in the right place where you want to be. Now, there's a lot of people who passes the guard sitting down on your knees, or there's other people who passes the guard standing up. I usually like to stand up because it's a lot for me. My game plan is easier, and it prevents me from getting an arm lock, choke, and usually triangle, which is a very powerful technique. And it happens a lot when people try to pass your guard on their knees. So right now, let's go back to the same posture that we had before. Here. Now, I want you guys to raise the same leg of the arm you got in front. Okay? You can have your opponent, your partner, be just like mine, or he can just get a grip like he will do in a fight. Well, now again, let's try to raise the same leg of the arm is in front. This is the same leg of the arm is in front. I'm going to raise it, and just the way I'm doing right now. Now, I'm going to raise the other leg the same way, and I'm going to stand straight up. Once my legs is on the ground, my foot establishes position on the ground, it doesn't come off. So I don't want you guys do this. Let me see. You guys will be in this position right here. when you guys stand up, that's wrong. I want you guys to do this, all the move. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay? So that's going to happen with your opponent. Watch. 1, 2, straight up. See, my feet didn't move. Why? Or what happened? When I tried and I moved my feet back and forth. I'm at a base. And it's easier for him to sweep me or to get out. I don't want that to happen. Actually, I'm going to show you guys another reason why. I want you guys to notice that my opponent is on his shoulders. If I move back, he's going to be on his back, which is going to be easier for him to attack me. He's going to have a lot of more movement. If I keep my opponent always on his shoulder, he's going to have to open his legs to be able to attack me. And that's exactly what I want. He's going to make my job easier. Okay? If I leave him on his back, it's like I'm doing right now. He's on his back, it's easier for him to attack me. So up, 1, 2, straight. See how he's on his shoulders? For him to attack me, he's going to have to go. He has no leverage whatsoever to be able to attack me. Again, I'm doing this over and over and try to explain to you guys because that's the most important part. The rest is easier. This is the hardest part, the right posture. Again, from the beginning, in the chest, on the hips. 1, 2, 3. 3 movements. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, from this position, like I said before, it's easier for me. The rest is easier. I want to try to keep his shoulder on the ground. Let's say he opened his legs. Open your legs. See, it's going to be easier for me. Now my game is going to be easier because he already did the first part to open his legs. So again, 1, 2. So watch again. Straight. 1, 2, 3. Now, what happens when my opponent keeps his legs closed? Or he has managed to do it and keep like that and try to attack me from there. How can I open his legs? First thing, I want you guys to remember, keep your posture. I want you guys to push your hips a little bit forward to make a better base from here, like this. Yes, like I'm doing so. See how I'm putting my hip forward? Okay. Now, I'm going to let it go one of my arms and try to place it on top of his knee. Yes, like I'm doing so. A lot of people try to do it with the elbow. It works. I personally like to do it when placing my hand on top of his knee, grabbing the gi. Now, when I do this, I want it to push down. Yes, like I'm doing so, until I break loose. As soon as I do this, I want you guys to know something very, very important, whether you're passing the guard on the bottom or on top. Let's go back down here, show you what I'm talking about. I want you guys to always remember this. It's a very important principle you guys should keep on your mind. Always both arms in between his legs or both arms outside the legs. But never, for no reason, whether down or standing up, you want to have one arm inside and one arm outside. This is wrong. Any position, doesn't matter if you're here, if you look like you're passing the guard, this is wrong. You will always want to have both arms inside, both arms outside. Why? It's going to happen. Famous triangle. Every time that I keep one arm inside and one arm outside, that's going to happen. Well, at least you're going to get the risk of happening. And you don't want that to happen. So the easy way to remember is both arms inside, both arms outside. Again. my opponent in the shoulders, I'll break and loose. So what happened when I do break loose? I had to remember that rule that I just told you guys. I cannot try to pass his arm because I'm just giving the chance to choke me with a triangle. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm just going to try to hold him to his leg, just like I'm doing so. I'm going to break loose my other arm and come inside of his leg. Okay, right now it's very hard for him to get me in a triangle. So what I'm trying to do, I let the other arm go and go inside. I go back to my rule, both arms outside or both arms inside. Again, 1, 2, 3. Go knee level, break loose, let it go. Sometimes the guy on the bottom could be a quick guy and try to grab your legs. So when you try, I usually recommend when I do this, I do a step back to avoid for him to grab my both legs. It's up to you, or depending on your opponent also. Again, 1, 2, straight up, break loose. Let it go the other hand and bring it inside. Let the other one go and bring both outside. Okay? As soon as I do this, I'm going to try to lock my hands, just like I'm doing so. Now, from this position, I'm going to knee, just like I'm doing so, right here. Again. See how I did it? Well, once we get into this position right here, I want you guys to work about your pressure. You always want to keep pressure. You don't want to be loose here. You don't want to have no space for him to move out. He knows he's in trouble. He's going to try to find a way to move his hip, try to get his legs out. I need to prevent that from happening. How can I prevent that from happening? Okay, the first thing, I can place here and try to keep my body on top of him. Other way is sticking both legs and try to put your whole body weight on top of his legs, like I'm doing so. It's going to make it very uncomfortable for him, especially if the person on the bottom is not flexible as in others. It's going to be even worse, and that's going to make it easier for you to pass his guard. Now, let's go back to this position where we're at. I'm going to keep the pressure. I want you guys to remember that it doesn't do you any good to get to this position, okay? And because you didn't keep the pressure, lose the position and start all over again, or even get in a worse position you were before. So now, keep the pressure. Good, right? Just like this, like so. Well, watch real closely. This hand is going to feed the other hand. You see? Sometimes you don't actually need to feed just from here. You stick your hand inside as deep as you can in his neck, okay, under his collar. Again, from here, it's like I'm doing so. Now, what else can we do? I always want to keep the pressure. I want you guys to remember that. I'm going to be pointing it out all this time. Keep the pressure. Now, my other hand that is not doing anything, I want you guys to place it behind his butt. Let's go back here. I want you guys to place this hand right, grabbing the belt, like I'm doing so, or his pants. It really doesn't matter which one. But that's a very important position. Why? Because with this hand, I'm going to be able to control his hips. I can go up or down. That's what I want. I want to go up or down, up or down. I'm going to be controlling his movement with this hand. So once I place the one in the collar, this one goes in the back. Okay? That's exactly, always keeping the pressure like I'm doing so. And you see now I can move his hip and controlling his head and his hip. Now again, from here, 1. The other hand goes to his butt. There we go. controlling his hip up and down. Now, that's not the whole thing. I want you guys now to notice something. I want to move my body in the direction of the arm is holding the neck. And it doesn't make me good to be here and try to go to the opposite side. I'm going to be spinning and towards the direction of the arm is in the neck. How I do that? First thing, I'm going to bring the knee of the leg is closer to my arm, closer to his head. The knee close from the leg is closer to my arm. Like I'm doing so. You see? Keeping the pressure. You notice that I never let the pressure go. I always keep really uncomfortable for him. Now, when I do that, I'm going to bring the other leg also. Like this. Once I get to this position right here, I'm going to stick both of my legs straight back. Again. Keeping the pressure. Stick both legs back. Now, I'm going to use my shoulder to be able to move his leg out of my way. I want you guys to notice something. You can use his hips to keep pressure on his neck, like I'm doing so. See? It won't actually make him choke, but it's going to make it uncomfortable. It's going to give me the pass in the guard even easier. So again, knee close to the head, go to the side, keeping his hips up, like that. As long as his hips are in the air, it's very hard for him to move. Again, keeping the pressure. I want to use my shoulder up. See how I use my shoulder to push his leg, giving the room he needs for him to give me the pass over the guard. Now I pass his guard. Again. Pressure right here. Other movement on my shoulder. See, I gave him enough space for him to turn his leg out. And I keeping my hips on the ground, never in the air, always on the ground, sticking my both legs straight back, and I pass the guard. Remember, the details, keeping the pressure. When you guys, both legs, both arms outside his legs, I want you to lock it, keep the pressure. Remember, you have no hurry. You have to slow down, try to do it very slowly. I'm going to do it one more time, and you see how I do it very slowly. Posture, looking forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You notice that? How easily and smoothly I did it? That's the same way you guys need to do it. And when you guys are in a tournament, that's the same way you guys have to do it. Remember, he's in trouble. He's the one who has to fight to get out of there. Let him get tired. Let him wear himself out. Maybe he try to escape, he's going to give you another choices to, maybe get to his back, maybe do something. But remember, you're in the advantage. Try to take your time, do slowly, and you'll see how you'll become a winner. Like I said before, that was the only way that you can pass the guard. Only thing that you guys to remember is the old way of passing the guard usually have the same principle. Always both arms from the outside or both arms from the inside. Always trying to keep the pressure on your opponent, keep the right posture. That's a main keys on every way of passing the guard. I'm going to show you guys now another way of passing the guard, which is going to show you basically by the end it's going to be almost like the one I showed you before. The only difference is going to be the controlling and the opening of his legs. Like I said before, and again, the posture. One in the chest, one by the hips. Look forward, back straight. Back straight, remember that. Now, what I want to do, I'm going to try to control one of his arms. How can I do that? First, I want to hold one of his arms. I usually like to recommend, it doesn't matter which arm you grab or which arm you use to grab. You can even grab cross, you can grab in line, you can use the back hand to grab. It really doesn't matter. I usually prefer to use my arm as a front to grab. Why? Because if I try to grab his arm here, he can usually give me an arm lock. I don't want to give him the chance, or I have to defend and then go back to the beginning. So let's avoid all that from happening by grabbing straight out from the arms in front, just like I'm doing so, just like this. Once I hold to that arm, I never let it go. Sometimes he's going to be fighting to break loose. If he breaks loose, go back to the beginning and wait for it. Usually it happens when the guy tries to put it in my neck and then I hold to it. I never want you guys to try to look for the arm. Sometimes the guys smile and they put the arms behind their head, like so. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to go look for it. Why? Because I'm exposing my arm to get an arm lock. Wait, he's going to have to use his arm to attack me. Otherwise, I'm going to use the same way I passed the guy before. Boom. Stand up, the same way I showed you guys before. Now, let's say he attacks my neck. I'm going to hold his arm, the gi, right, like I'm doing so. I'm going to raise the same leg of the arm I'm holding. Okay? Even though it doesn't matter if I'm holding it across, I'm going to be raising the leg of the arm I'm holding. Not because I'm holding with this arm, I'm going to raise this leg. That's wrong. The same leg of the arm I'm holding. So again, hold his arm. Remember, posture. It's going to be the same move we did before. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. But notice now that I don't let it go. I always keep my arm to myself, this arm. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to never let it go. When I'm on top, I can whether switch to my other arm. Now, why I'm doing that? Because if I'm here and I try to break loose this arm, this leg right here, he can use his arm and try to bother me, to use this arm to bother me, to avoid for him to open his legs. Well, I'm going to show you the other reason why I like to switch the arms. Again, I hold his arm, raise the same leg, 1, 2. Let's say my opponent comes like that, just like he's doing so. Now, if I try to break loose here, he can use his arm and put it inside to avoid from that happening. So we're going to be here all day. So what I want to do, rather to do that, I'm going to switch. See? Now I can use my other arm and break loose to this side. His arm, he cannot use his arm to fight against this one because it make it uncomfortable for him. So I'm going to try to do is the same thing we did before. I break loose. As soon as I break loose, we're going to go back to the same principle. I let it go, both arms from the inside, the same technique we did before. Collar in the back, knee close to your head, stay back, the same thing we did before. So again, let's try to remember the main points of this passing the guard. We go here, like I said before, if you get the chance and you can hold it across from the beginning, from the start, that's really good. Don't just be here and waste your time and wait. No, if you hold here right away, stand up, 1, 2, 3. Other thing, if you grab, you're in this position, and you grab here, I want you guys try to keep his arm always under your other arm. It's like so. Don't try to do it from here because he can attack my arm. He can hold it here and try to there we go. Just like so. So as soon as I hold it, I let it go. Now what I try to do, this is another detail you guys can do right here. Use this arm to put pressure on that one. Try to take your arm out. See, it's really hard. It's hard. It's almost impossible. Right here. So the same thing. Don't waste your time. You already got his arm. 1, 2, 3. Hold his arm. See? Now let it go. and go back to where we were before. Remember, if he comes with you, he follows you, don't worry. Keep your posture. Don't move back and forth like a lot of people do. Hold it. If he comes with me, hold it. Switch. Okay? Sometimes you can also do it here. Put the other hand in the hips and try to push him down. He only can hold it so long. He's going to eventually get tired and open his leg. But we don't have that much time. So we need to try to open his legs as fast as we can. Let's practice. Well, now let's see what happened. A lot of people ask me, what happened when they're not able to stand up and they want to pass the guard on the bottom? First thing I want you guys to remember, keep aware of the arm locks, chokes, triangle, and posture. That's when you guys going to need it the most, when you are on your knees and try to pass from the bottom. The same thing is going to apply when you guys try to pass your guard on the bottom. Keep posture, the chest, back straight, look forward. Now what I want to do, I'm going to bring, doesn't matter which knee. I usually like to bring the knee, for the arm is in the back, inside between my legs, on his back, like so. Okay, again. Watch closely. Back straight. See that? Now, when I do that, I wanted to raise the other leg away from him. Just like I'm doing so. Away from him. Not close to him, away from him. Now, I'm going to try to break loose. I can do it. A lot of people like to do it from here. A lot of people like to do it from here, right away. It doesn't matter. Just like I said, you adapt the game you like to do it. If it was my choice, close my leg. If it was of my choice, I would put my leg behind here and try to open from here. I won't like to do it from here because it gives you the chance for him to sweep me, a lot of other details. So from here, you can use your elbow to bother his muscle, right by his knee level, or like we did before, right here. As soon as I open, I'm going to try to do the same thing I did before. Now, I want you guys to detail something here. Let it go. As soon as you guys open, I personally like to do, I want to try to sit and put one knee inside. Why? To avoid for him to close his leg again, for him to avoid to get a triangle, or he tries to do a triangle on me. So that knee inside is very, very, very useful. Again, I open, right here. Now he tried to close his leg again. It's hard for him. The space I'm creating with my knee is real big. Again, go here. Now, as soon as I do this, I go back to the same style we had before. Right here again. Again. Here. Right here. You guys can go here. Or like you adapt your game. I'm just trying to show you the way to prevent an arm lock, choke, how to him to close his leg again. Those are little details that you guys need to work on it. This knee, you guys can also do it when you guys stand up. Let's say I'm here, I stood up, open his legs. The same thing. You see how I can relate one thing to another? How can one move complies with another? I stood up only with the intention of opening his leg, and then I came and pass his guard on the bottom. The same thing, it can happen when I'm here. I open his legs, and then I try to pass his guard standing up. One thing complies to another. But for the best results, I want you guys to practice each move by themselves. Once you get good at it, you guys try to combine one with another and see the details. The guy on the bottom at beginning, he doesn't do anything. The only thing he can do is tell your opponent, your partner on top of you, if he's putting enough pressure, if you can see, he can feel any gap where he can get out. If you're doing something wrong, maybe he leaving one arm, triangle, he can get a choke. That's the only thing he can do, just tell you, oh, something is wrong. After you get good at it, then you guys can try to combine one thing, and he can try to make you tap. For right now, I want you guys to work on the techniques we show you and try to get good at it. Now we're going to work another details on passing the guard. I'm going to go to some details when you're standing up and your opponent, your partner, start using his leg, start using what's called open guard of Wahda Araya. As I say, his legs can become as good as their arms because of the experience they have. They adjust their game plan, legs and feet together. So I'm gonna give you some details how to escape when somebody grabs you, and some details that can help you. I don't say it's gonna make you, but it's gonna help you to adapt, to improve your game. So let's say we stand up. My opponent, usually this is the position they're gonna usually get because it's hard for me to try to pass his guard. If I go this way, he stick his leg. They use their legs like a steering wheel to control my body. So now, first thing you guys always want to try to do is control the inside of his knees. Not the outside, nowhere else, but the inside. I wanted to put my control the inside of his knees, just like I'm doing so right now. Right here, he's still in control, but now I can kind of strike the controlling motion that he has over me. First thing, I want to show you guys one thing. How can I take his foot off there? One way. I'm going to try to bring one leg down and stick in my body, my arm forward. It's like I'm doing so. Look at this. Sticking my body. You see that? Again, I'm gonna stick it down. It's like I'm doing this. My arm is bent right now. I'm gonna stick it and then down. So again, it's bent. Stick it and then down. Same thing I can do the other one. Again, see, stick it down, stick it down. It's very, very easy and it's going to be very helpful to do that. Remember, he has control over that. Before I try to do anything, try to pass his guard, try to do anything, I need to get rid of those hooks. Why? Because if I go try to pass his guard this way, he'll shoot me that way. See? I lose my balance. He has control over me. So I need to get rid of those hooks first. You see how I do it? I get rid of it, and then I try to push his legs like I'm going to punch the ground. Again. One, down, and down. See, now I'm going to put my head in his stomach. So you try to control, to pass his guard, control, keeping the pressure on his legs. My arms always on his legs. Just like so. Again. One. See? Notice that I keep my legs straight, keep my butt raised away from him to be able to move around and to prevent for him, as soon as I do this, to put his foot in my hips. If I'm close, see, he put his leg on my hips, I'm in trouble again. So what I want to do is away. See? pass the guard. Again. Stick down, stick down. Once I go to the ground and try to hold him, that's when I lower my body to get my base even harder for him to sweep me. So one more time. Let's practice. Okay, now let's see another detail to improve that passing the guard again. That's not the only way you guys can pass his guard. Now I'm going to show you another easy way. First thing, I'm going to try to put his feet together. I'm going to try to place myself back to have the room to do it. If I'm too close to him, it's hard for me to do it. I don't have room. I'm going to place myself a little bit away from him. Try to put my arms together. That's like I'm doing. So before I was doing one by one. Now this time I'm going to do it both at the same time. Here, now I'm going to place my whole body weight on top of my shoulders and keeping my arms straight. Don't bend your arms, okay? Try to keep your arms stick like a baseball bat, and then try to put his legs on the ground. Like I'm going to try to punch the ground at the same time with both hands. Watch. You see that? Again, place myself away from him, keeping my balance. Okay, putting my arms together straight, my arms, push down. Now pass the guard. Watch again. Place myself back, down, punch the ground, placing my shoulder and his stomach on my head. Something is to put pressure. Okay, now walk to the side and pass the guard. Again. So I can combine both. Well, okay, one, the one we did before, boom, boom, to the side, back. So one more time. Let's practice. The next thing is going to be on the crossbody position. We pass the guard. The next move is going to be on the crossbody. What can we do? Usually the main goal is try to mount. But there's a lot of other things that we can do, like a knee on the stomach, try to choke. You can get an arm lock. There's a lot of other things that you can use to actually gain the mount position. If you guys with experience, you're going to find out the mount on a jiu-jitsu fighter is really hard, especially when the guy has the same technical level as you. It's going to be hard for you to mount him. So you're going to need to adapt your game to another strategies to be able to get to where you want to go. Right now, I want to show you guys how to place the knee on the stomach. It's usually count as 2 points, and it's very uncomfortable. Usually can give you the chance to mount, to get an arm lock, depending on what your opponent is going to do to defend that. Well, let's get to the position. Let's say we pass the guard and we get to the crossbody position, like I'm doing so right now. I want you guys to notice that I get my legs stick, my body's on the ground, my hips on the ground, I'm sorry. And I keep one arm from behind, close to his legs right here, close to his hips, and the other one holding by the under his arm. Or you guys can grab right behind his neck. It's like I'm doing so right now. This is real excellent position right here. You don't want to be too away from him, like you don't want to be too far over him. You want to be chest to chest, just like I'm doing so right now, to avoid, any techniques he's going to try to do to counter strike, because the main thing is going to try to get out of here. So you're going to have a good base, need to have a good base and a really good established position right here. Well, now, how can we place my knee on his stomach? First thing, you can do it whether in this position, smashes in this position right here. I usually like it here because I'm going to show you the reason why. First thing, I'm going to try to put my other arm is going to come from here, from the ground, and it's going to grab by the belt. It's like doing so. I'm trying to put my forearm right down, putting my elbow down right here. Now, from there, I'm going to hold by the collar level, just like I'm doing so. Again, it doesn't matter which one you do first. I can do this one first and then this one later. Again, 1, 2. Now, I'm going to use this as a leverage to be able to raise myself. What I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to bring my knee that is close to this arm, the same leg of this arm is in the hips, on top of his stomach, like I'm doing so. Yes, like I'm doing right now. So I'm going to show you guys the move without my opponent. I'm here. Look at the move. Just like I'm doing so. Try to put my shin on his stomach. So I'm going to be looking like this. So again. Just like I'm doing so right now. Right here. Now, I want you guys to notice that I keep my leg away from him. Sometimes you can even do this. Just like I'm doing, away from him. Why? Because sometimes a smart guy he can use the leg to create leverage, to escape, to do any crazy moves. Okay, I can do this right here. Bringing my knee right here and sticking my body. I want to stick my body down to put pressure, to create, making it uncomfortable. Sometimes you can even also just put your knee, just like I'm doing so right now. Okay, just create. I want to make it as most uncomfortable as possible for. First of all, because I want to establish the position to be able to count the points as 2 points. It doesn't do me any good. Just go, boom, and he pushes out right away. That doesn't count. They have to be established. At least 3 or 4 seconds that I can prove that I did what I'm doing right now. And plus, it's going to create a lot of things. Sometimes my opponent, we're going to put the knee, his hand on my knee to try to push that. That's going to create an opening for me to get an arm lock. I'm going to show you guys down how can you get it. But right now, let's work on this move. Remember, you can do it from here. Okay, straight your back. Yes, straight forward. Let's go again. Here. Boom. Now, let's see our first attack from this position. We go again. 1. Now, what can I do to attack him, to make him give up, to tap? Okay, now I'm going to let this hand go. See the way I'm grabbing his gi right here? I'm going to let this hand go and go under. Under my arm, not on top, under my arm. And place it all the way deep inside his neck. Now, when I do that, once that happens, I'm just going to try to put my hips right back on the ground. And just put pressure on his neck. Again, from here, I'm going to let this go and place it under my arm, inside his neck. What usually is going to happen, he's going to try to flip his body away from him, or away from me, I'm sorry. Don't worry about that. If he tries to flip your body away from me, do the same. Don't worry about that. Just try to put your hand deep inside his neck. It doesn't matter if once my hand is inside his neck, he's going to tap. I'm just going to try to put my body, remember, put your hips down. This hand, she's going to stay in the same place. She's just going to be an obstacle for me to choke him. The other hand is the one who's going to put the pressure on his neck. I'm here. As soon as I raise low on my body, I'm going to try to put my elbow in the ground. Just like I'm doing so. Again, so we'll be here. This one goes here. If he starts coming towards me, that's okay. Just don't worry. Keep applying the pressure. Keep your hips down. That way you avoid for him to flip you or try to turn you over. Again. The next thing we're going to be working on is going to be kind of an arm lock. Actually, it's not an arm, it's a shoulder lock. Usually when it happens, is when as soon as I put my knee on his stomach, my opponent tries to avoid the pain by placing his hand on my knee. I can take that as an advantage for me to apply a shoulder lock. It's called the Americana. I'm going to show you guys. I want you guys, when you guys do it with your partner, very slowly because it hurts a lot and it's very fast. You can make somebody tap real fast or you can hurt somebody real bad. So let's take a look at it. Go to this position again. The same principle. Boom. As soon as I get to this position right here, he's going to try to do that because it hurts. Well, as soon as he puts his hand on top of my knee, I'm going to let him spin around. I want you guys to notice how I change my base. I don't stay here. I just switch my base to get him at a better angle. I place my arm under. When you guys get in this position, you guys need to raise his hand a little bit higher. Why? Because usually what's going to happen, he's going to grab his own belt. So it's going to be hard for me to do that. So as soon as I grab his hand, I go up and then down. Okay? Now again, if for any reason he grabbed his belt or he had the lock to do it, I want you guys to do this. Instead of fighting to go that way, bring him towards your chest first. See this? Again, here. Don't fight against it because you're going against this technique is going to make it hard. Go with the technique. See? Doesn't matter how hard he grabs. You're here with pressure. I want you guys always try to keep pressure on his arm. I'm doing it here for you guys' view. But actually the technique is right here. Keep your pressure. Because eventually you can go to another arm lock. Right here. This way. Again. From the beginning. He attacks. I spin around. Here. I raise his arm. And arm lock. Now, I'm going to take the time to show you guys techniques when you guys go to somebody's back. There is not actually a way to get to somebody's back. It depends on the position where you're at. Maybe your opponents give you the chance. Maybe you, by yourself, get to his back. But going to his back, there is not a specific way. There are specific things you should do when you're in somebody's back. I'm going to try to show you guys. It's going to be things you can do positively and negative. Things you cannot do. That's what I mean. I'm going to show you the way to get to his neck, especially with judo players. If you guys go to a judo tournament, they do a lot. They turn to their back. They want to protect. First, if you do that, you're going to be dead, basically. You cannot fight with something you cannot see. So try to avoid to get somebody in your back or give your back to somebody. And when you fight, that will be a good thing you have always in your mind. Try to go to somebody's back. Especially for a little guy, try to fight against a big guy, it's a good thing to go to their back. Because it's easier for you guys to finish him. He cannot do anything. You cannot fight with somebody's in your back. You cannot see it. You don't know what you have to defend before you can attack. The guy in the back, the only thing he's going to do is to attack you. So let's see what happens. When I go to somebody's back, the first thing I'm going to try to put is my both hooks inside his legs. It doesn't matter if I'm like in this position right now or if he bends and forward. Like so. Now, I want you guys to detail something here. You always want to put the hook is inside first. And then you're going to work on the other hook. What I mean with the hook is inside. This is the inside and this is the outside for me. I'm going to try to put the hooks inside first. I'm going to try to bring this leg and put it inside first before I try to do the other. Why? Because if I try to put the other one before I put this one, he can turn me over, he can flip, and I will lose the position. If I put this hook first, like I'm doing so right now, it doesn't matter what he does. I'm going to be following him everywhere that he goes. Try to flip, my friend. You see? Go again. Doesn't matter where he goes, I'm going to be following him. Okay. Now, the next thing, if I get a chance, I'm going to try to bring the other leg and put the other hook. It's like I'm doing so. Now, one good thing to remember from here, never cross your legs together. That's the end of the fight. He will foot lock me, and that'll be it, just like that. Okay, now, this is the right way to put your legs. Next to his thighs, and like so. Now, what's going to be the thing I'm going to try to do from here? I'm going to try to choke him. How can I choke him? Never cross your legs. Never put both arms on top of his shoulders. That's some things that you never want to do. If you want to choke, you don't want to have both arms under his armpits because you won't be able to choke him. So the thing is to have one arm under his armpit and the other one over his shoulder. Yes, like this. So it doesn't matter which one. Like this, like so. Now, how can I apply the choke? First thing, I want to have control over the gi. One hand, the arm is under the armpit, is going to control the opposite side of the gi. Sometimes you can use this hand to fit, to give this collar to the other hand. It's going to come to the neck, just like so. As soon as I do that, the other hand goes and grabs the opposite side of the gi. So again, we'll be here. This hand fits this arm. You want to go deep inside his neck, like so. And the other one goes to the other side. This one doesn't really matter where you put it. Where you can put it down here, up here, it doesn't matter. Now, what I wanted to do, I wanted to stick my elbows straight up, stick my arms. Watch. Yes, stick my elbows like I'm doing so. This one pushing down and this one, both is pushing down. I'm trying to stick my arms just like that. Watch the movement. See my elbow bend? Look how I'm going to try to straighten it up. Alright? So again, from the other side, this one gives this gi and goes to the other side and stick my elbows together. Okay? Let's practice. Well, the next move we're going to be working on is going to be on the mount position, how to finish our opponent with it. A lot of people, or everybody I think is very familiar with this position and with the finishing moves. What I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to refresh the moves and make it even more detailed, and I'm going to make it more efficient, and how can combine one with another. Remember, in Brazil, every day, Jiu-Jitsu is improving. That's why Jiu-Jitsu there is the best in the world, because there's so many athletes and everybody always creating something new, to avoid somebody's technique. When you go to a tournament there, the guys always do something to you, so when you go back to the academy, you think between your friends how to avoid that from happening. Next time he's gonna try to do it, you avoid it. So the next time he's gonna try to do something else. So that's what makes Jiu-Jitsu so good there, because every day is improving, every day. The basic techniques always improving also to make it better. Now I want to show you guys what to do from here. First thing, the most common thing is going to be the choke. How can we choke? I've told you before, the technique is going to be the same. hands almost touching each other. I'm gonna be the bending wrist towards me, elbows real tight to my body, and pushing my elbows back, bringing my chest forward. So let's see how that happens. I'm gonna put my hand inside deep in his neck. The other one is gonna come under and under. You can also do it on top, but it's a lot easier when you do it on the bottom, because usually when I try to go on top, my opponent is going to avoid it, or he try to put his chin down to avoid to do it. So when I go do here, it's really hard for him to avoid it, because I can use my chin, my forearm, to open his head. Okay? Now again, go under, go as deep as you can as possible. Now, I want you guys to do that bending wrist towards me. Here, here, just like that. See? I bend my wrist. I try to bend my wrist. Now, what I wanted that to do, I'm going to place my forehead on the ground, on the same side, on the arms on top. This is the arm on top. I want to put my body on this side. Why? That way it's going to be hard for him to try to throw me over that side. See, he's going to try to do like the umpa to try to escape. That escape that a lot of people is familiar with. Here, if I try to put my body here, I'm putting my whole weight over this side. It's going to make it easier for him to escape. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch, put it on the opposite side, just like I'm doing so. Just like this. Now what I'm going to do, keeping my elbows tight to my body and sticking my chest forward. See? No energy, no power, is pure technique. Again, one, under the bottom, go to this side, put it in the ground. One more time. I want you guys to look at my chest the way I want you guys to do it, the same movement, how to create leverage. When I'm here, I'm going to put my elbows close to my ribs, bring the wrist forward, like so, and push back up. Just like, see how I stick my chest forward? That's exactly what's going to create the pressure on his neck. See, his neck is right between my hands. As soon as I do this, see how my hands close? That's what is going to create the pressure on him. That's why you can see there is no energy, it's just pure technique. I'm here. I'm just bringing my chest forward, open my shoulders back. Again, watch. Here, I'm bringing my... One more. Next thing we're going to be working on is the arm lock from the mount position. Let's have our opponent just place your arms in your chest like so. Now, this is a very detailed technique. You guys need to do it. Take your time and do it. That way you guys will do it really good when it comes down to it. First thing, I'm going to place one arm on top of his arms, above his arm and top of his chest. Above his arm and top of his chest. Just like I'm doing so. The other hand is going to come from the inside. Just like so. Notice that I'm not grabbing his arm. I'm not grabbing his gi. Why? If you grab somebody's arm, what is going to be his natural reaction? Exactly. That's exactly what is going to happen. So you guys need to think about, be sneaky, malandro. You got to be sneaky when you do that. You don't have, you're going to do the technique, but he doesn't know what actually is going to happen. So again, one hand on the top, one hand on the bottom. The other reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to have a point of support when I try to put my weight on top of his body. Why I'm going to try to put my weight on top of his body? That way my legs, they'll be very light and easy to spin around, to move. If I'm here, see how my legs get easy. If I'm here and I'm not putting my weight on top of his body, it's hard for me to move. It's hard. You need to put your weight on top of his body. See, like so. Now, what I want to try to do next, after I put my weight on top of his body and I'm doing everything right, I'm going to bring my knee closer to the head. Which knee? The same knee of the arm is in front. If my left arm is in front, my left knee is going to come close to his head. So let's think about something. If I'm looking forward and I bring my knee close to his head, what is the next, what am I going to be looking at when I'm done? To my right, to the other direction. Of course, why? So if I'm here and I bring my knee, see, I'm going to be looking to the other side. So now again, one on top, on the bottom, my knee close to his head. What happened to the other leg? The other leg is going to be like a 90 degrees. So it's going to look like this. 1, 2. 90 degrees, my knee close to his head, I'm looking to the side. I want you guys to notice something. When I do this, I never give enough space for him to take his arm out. What I mean enough space is when I go to here, 1, see where my groins are, where my hips are real close to his back, to his shoulder. I'm not raising my hips, I'm not sitting down, I'm like halfway, right where I want to be. Just right here. Looking to the side. Notice that my hands never get on top of one another. They always keep the same position that I had before. 90 degrees right here. Now, when I do this, and anytime I'm going to grab his arm or do anything else, I'm going to keep the same position. Now, what I want to try to do, I'm going to keep putting my weight on top of his body, and I want to try to lean a little bit forward. What for? I want to be able to place my leg next to his head, right here. But if I'm here, I'm sitting down, or I don't know, in a wrong position, my leg is going to be hard for him to move. So I need to put my body forward, leaning my weight on top of his body to create the space or the room for my leg to move. Again, from here, watch. You see that? I want you guys to notice something. My leg or my foot, once goes to next to his head, it never comes off. That means it never comes off the ground. Stays there. Even when I go down, anything that I do, my leg never moves, my foot never leaves the ground. Keep that in mind. Because a lot of times you do everything right, but you lift your leg and your opponent takes advantage of that and he escapes. So again, be here, pass. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit down, laying back. And the time I'm going to be grabbing his arm. See, I never lift my leg. Now, I never cross my legs or anything. I just keep my foot on the ground here. Other detail. When you get to go to this position and you finally pass your leg, when you guys lay down, I don't want you guys to lay down straight back. I want you guys to lay down towards his legs. Why? Because if I lay down too close to his head, it's going to be real easy for him to escape. He spins around, he escapes. But if I go to his head, to his legs, it's hard for him to spin around. See that? Never put his arm away from you. Always inside, between you and his leg. That's the right position right there. Very hard for him to escape. From here, he escapes. From here, he has a chance to escape. From here, no chance whatsoever to escape. If I raise my leg, he can come on top. You see? Keep your foot on the ground. Keep control his arm with both of your arms around his wrist level and raise your hips. Okay, again. When you guys get to this position, the right way for you to arm lock, try to keep his thumb up, control the arm straight between your stomach right here, and put pressure. The pressure is going to be right on his elbow. Remember, keep his arm. If he tries to twist his arm, just adjust your body. There we go. See, I adjust my body the way he's turning. I don't try to fight against it. But the best way is trying to keep your thumb straight up and push down toward your chest. One more time, the other way. Here. One more time, fast. Well, this will conclude the series on the attacking from the top position. You guys, when you pay attention to the details, practice, and I hope they give you a general idea on how to work from the top. Hopefully I'll see you again in my next stage, and I hope the techniques I'm showing you will help you to win a lot of tournaments.